we've been ignoring the millions of people that are refugees and are starving in other countries.
So then we should all suspect that you could be practicing white supremacy right now.
Yes.
Do you think that because you are a Christian, because you identify as a Christian, we should all suspect that suspect you could be practicing white supremacy, non-white people?
No, they're separate. My white supremacy is part of who I am because, as you say, because of what's, using it behind me. My Christianity is separate.
Okay, I necessarily don't agree with that, but I'll move on. My last question, and I'll pass it on to the next person is, can you provide some suggestions for how non-white people can eliminate the system of white supremacy?
Well, I think that everybody has to, I think governments, what it is for me, I don't know. See, I don't know how they can address it. The thing is, one, you have to squash white supremacist groups straight away. You have to see them as terrorists because they're terrorizing people in your nation. So they have to be recognized as terrorists and they have to have criminal offenses. And then, for me, which America calls you a communist, I think the welfare of your people, of the nation, whether they're poor or not, they need to be helped. Like, I think as a nation in America, just say, education, healthcare, that's a necessity. That should be a given. It shouldn't be, oh no, everybody has to work because everybody has bad circumstances. I'm one paycheck away from being homeless all the time, so, and I've been there before and I don't want to go back. So you can understand that, yes, sometimes you need to take care of your own people first. And I find America doesn't want to do that a lot. And then also, we don't want to take care of people outside. Everybody has the best intentions in their heart, a lot of people. We have the best intentions, but when it comes to actions and doing things, we're not so great at that.
Go ahead, Miss Action.
Reading CED. Do you feel that Black people and other non-white people are seeking to genetically annihilate white people?
No, not at all. I think you should, but no, not at all.
Okay. Do you think that the way white people who are racist act is because they fear genetic annihilation?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted. I think a lot of the way they act, especially politically, is through fear. And the government knows that and they use fear.
Okay. Final question. For the foreseeable future, will you be sharing, as you come across it, any constructive information? So how to get access to basic needs, resources, income, investments with the Black people, not only in this room and the non-white people in this room, but non-white people and Black people that you know. Will you be willing to share constructive information with us for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I would share everything with everybody if I had knowledge and if I knew things. I don't. As I say, see, I'm in my later years of life and I don't have great knowledge of anything, but I'll share, like I came into this room expecting the hard questions to be asked because I know I have no excuse. I have no excuse for my beliefs or my behavior. And I thought, well, you have to be confronted about those. You can't hide from them. You can't fear them. So I thought, just do it. Just face it and let them, ask you questions and that, and let yourself, bring up these bad feelings. With anybody, any culture, any race.
There's only one race, that's the white race. You did not answer Miss Action's question. You said anybody. That was not her question. She said specifically black people, non-white people. And that's my notice to the room. I just want y'all to pick up on that. White people are master of words. Master of words. Go ahead, Monsoon.
Real quick, she referenced communism. Is that not a form of white supremacy racism?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about communism. I know American. That's what I've been paying attention to, and on Twitter, Americans like to use the fear of communism on people, and I don't understand that.
When you
Okay.
say America, are you talking about
Yeah,
white
that
people or
was my next
non-white
question.
people? I know.
Yeah, I think it's what you called over there. See, I don't know politics very good. Conservative. They're always calling the Democrats communist, and now with Colombia, with the new president, they're saying.
Again, my question is, when you say America, are you talking about white people or non-white people?
Well, what if it's both? Because I hear it from conservatives, black and white.
You use the term America. When you say America, notice what I'm doing, people. When you say America, are you talking about white people or non-white people?
I must be seeing it wrong because I see America as Americans. I must see it wrong. I'm sorry.
I guess my next question is, you keep saying the term culture. Are you describing white culture?
Well, it depends on what I'm referencing it to.
Referencing to what?
Well, if it's regards to racism, I've seen racism against cultures.
What's your definition of culture?
Culture is your heritage background or where you come from. For instance, like if you're Italian in Australia as a kid, you're a wog. If you're an Indian, you're a raghead. If you're an Asian, I don't know what term would be used for an Asian. That to me is their cultural background. So
Damn,
racism
that's
towards
just
culture.
slurs. Those are just racial slurs. That's like Mexicans coming over here.
Hello? Who's speaking right now? Because we raise our hands in this room.
I just was appalled, but go ahead.
There's a reason why I muted everyone. Because we're not raising our hands, we're just talking. And we're going to be courteous to each other. We're not going to talk out of turn. Even if I disagree with you, you can still speak. I'm asking a question. I suspect that this white woman is practicing racism. So do not be courteous to each other. Do not fall for her trap. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Dark and go.
Go ahead, Kimberly.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Those terminologies she was using was just slurs, and I was referencing when Mexicans came over here, we didn't start calling them fresh off the boat. And when Asians came over here, we didn't go chinkachong, chinkachong. We didn't do any of that. We accepted people into the
Kimberly,
community.
do you have a question for her?
Yes, so when she's referencing communist, that did not come from America. That is a communist community that is from the Asian heritage. And because of the way that they weaponize
Kimberly,
and uh-huh.
we don't so-called educate white people. Do you have a question for her?
Yeah, so my question is, where did she get the communist knowledge from? That is my question. And if she doesn't know, then maybe she shouldn't use it.
All right. I understand where communism comes from. I tried to explain how, on Twitter, etc., how I hear Americans, white Americans will say but they're conservatives, so they're white and people of color, Mexican people, everybody, so they're Americans. I try to explain what I don't understand is how they say Colombia are communists now. They have a new president, and so they're communist. But I don't see the president as being communist. That's what I don't understand.
So she asked you a specific question. Where, Ms. Kimberly, would you like to repeat your question?
Yeah, so I asked you, my question was, where did you define communist from? Where did you get the terminology from? Where did you get the history from? Where did you get the background from to even attach any nationality, country to being a communist if you don't know the history of it or the origin or the terminology? That is my question.
I guess I got my communist education from schooling and life, I guess. People that come to my community that live with me that come from different nations, we learn something from them.
All right, CED, I don't think that that's acceptable. That's just my opinion, but you're entitled to your opinion because that's all that is. And it's like an asshole. Everyone have one of those. So
Oh,
good
we
luck.
don't
No
use
cursing,
profanity
no
in here,
cursing.
Kimberly.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No,
And
no,
that's the
no, no
first time
apology.
yeah, that's the first time in a long time I even had to say something like that in that vernacular. But I think I'll just land my plane. I said what I said.
Most definitely. But that's what I said earlier. Please don't allow her to pull you out of character by using profanity, by getting upset, etc. Please don't allow that.
Point taken. Got it.
Go ahead, Evelation.
Yes, man. I got three simple questions. So earlier, Miss CD, did you say that white supremacy is a part of your fabric as far as the fabric of your being?
Yes.
Okay. Could white supremacy exist without deceit?
No, probably not from my quick thought of that. No.
My last question. Are you compelled to come into this room and possibly clear your conscience because you're facing a terminal illness?
No. I
Thank you.
just felt compelled to come because I just want to understand more. I just want to learn all the time and I want to understand people.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dark and Lovely. And then 05.
All right. So, CD, just got a couple of questions here. I just wanted to get more clarification. Do you think racism, white supremacy is a global power structure?
Yes.
Okay. Um, and if you presume that racism, white supremacy is a global power structure, um, could you tell us how can Black people, in what ways can Black people be racist?
I think it's the basic racism. If you fear or hate someone for their race or culture, that's racism. It's not supremacy, but it's still racism.
Who do you think is more confused about racism, white supremacy? Will it be white people or non-white people?
Sorry, did I answer then?
No.
Who do you think is more confused about racism and white supremacy? Would it be white people or non-white people?
White people.
If you presume that racism and white supremacy is well, let me ask this first. Do you think that there is a global code amongst people who classify themselves as white, no matter where they are?
No, I don't think it's a code. I think it's a state of being.
The state of being in the system of racism and white supremacy?
Yes.
Well, in just in my opinion, I would think that would be a global code. Um, that's just my opinion. But um, could you tell us a racist joke?
Hang on, give me a second. I know I must know one. Let me think. Okay, hold on. I know I must know one. Gosh. See, we don't do that here. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I'm not being, you can say I'm pretending or acting. Give me a minute and I'll see if I can think of one.
All right. Were you uncomfortable when someone said racist jokes around you?
It doesn't happen. That's what, it doesn't happen. If it cuts deep, I think yes. In Australia, we do a lot of jokes. And as long as you can laugh at yourself here. So we make fun of ourselves a lot. But there's not a lot of racist jokes going around. I'm trying to think of my son. My son's always, telling jokes and making me laugh, but I can't think of an instance of a racist joke.
Okay. If there's a system of racism and white supremacy, how are people, quote unquote, trying to bury racism if there is a system of global racism, white supremacy?
Okay. Now, as I said before, I'm a simple person, so I'm no intelligent person. I can't articulate very well. How they're trying to bury it to me is to ignore it. To ignore it, and through the system of things to keep people that they don't want to deal with unheard and unseen as much as possible and just move forward. I don't know how to explain it.
I yield my mic.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, CED. I'd like a yes or no answer for this question. Would you agree that the system of white supremacy has placed non-white people in a childlike position?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's correct for people classified as white to go into what is called sexual relationships, romances with non-white people who have been placed in childlike positions?
Yes.
What are the constructive results that come from that sort of arrangement?
I don't know.
what do you think would happen if non-white people collectively decided to no longer engage with white people sexually or in any capacity other than to demand justice?
I don't know.
Why do you think it's correct for white people who are in a adult position, power position, to engage sexually with people in a childlike position, victim position?
Because love is something you can't control.
What is your definition of love?
I guess love is when your concern for someone else is more than your concern for yourself. Your well-being depends on their well-being.
Do you have the will to work to guarantee that no one on this planet is being mistreated and those who need help receive constructive help?
Admittedly, no. I've tried to do my best. I still try, but I fail.
Why do you think you fell?
Because I'm only one person with only so much resources.
Thank you for your answers.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
It's just my battery's about to go dead. Am I the only white person in the room?
You're on the mic.
The other white guest, just excuse herself.
There appears to be another person who may be white, Christian Ratliff, possibly, but I do not know.
And I feel like my Christianity is my love for Jesus. It's not bashing, using the Bible as a weapon, using this fake religions as a weapon. It's just my love for Jesus. And I try to, what Jesus taught is what I try to, since being an adult, since having children. Children was a big awakening for me. Before that, because I've traveled to places, before that, traveling to places woke me up. And then to love my children woke me up, to myself, what I went. And for me, Jesus, so when I say I'm a Christian, I'm not religious. I believe in Jesus and I believe in his teachings, and that's what I aspire to do. But I fail miserably all the time.
If I may, I wanted to ask you a question, CD. First of all, I want to commend you for at least having a change of heart to be willing to, as one person, to make things right. So that I commend you for that effort. But my question is you have now acknowledged that the hate that white people give to black people is unbearable. And I know you know now that we suffer in pain without the help of other white people. So I ask you, with your change of heart, have you repented and have you take on the challenge of telling other black people or those that are not black that you have done some things in your ignorance and you're sorry for that? Have you did that? That's my question.
You like quick answers, so I'll say yes. I've tried to bring my children up to accept everybody as equals and to love everybody as equals. I know you like short, so yes. I feel like crying now. I don't know why, but I really feel like crying.
That's because I'm speaking to your heart and I'm asking you, in your heart of heart, did you actually make that right in the presence of those who come to condemn Black people? And have you been a part of that, where you confessed that you were a part of that? You too was a part of the pain. Have you confessed? Have you made that right in your change of heart? That's my question to you.
Yes.
And how have you made that right? What did you do?
Well, I just try to be present with love
No, but I
for
asked you,
people.
yes, I understood that part, but I asked you, did you openly confess your incidents to your children that you've done wrong to Black people, and now you're changing your heart, you're making that right? Have you told them, or have you told others? Have you told your story about the affliction you did in your ignorance as a white person? That's my question to you.
Yes, I've told everybody if it comes up in conversation, or even if it doesn't, I've told everybody. I've told my experiences to anyone, that would listen. Well, I've spoken about this many a times, and things that I've gone through. Yes.
Can you tell us what were some of those horrible things that you've done to Black people that you're now a converted Christian or someone who believes in God? What was those things that you did, so we can be mindful of individuals that are in a dark side of life? Can you tell us what those things were?
As I say, I've actually never done. Like I said, I don't have things. My first memory was being being fear. When our schools joined together, and I had this big fear, so I was kind of pushing, it away from me and not wanting to be involved. But then, as soon as I made my best friend, it kind of melted away. So at a very young age, I've never wanted to hurt people. So I don't know. I know I must have hurt them, like I say, through bullying, through just not helping. Not helping. I mean like African people that are starving, or Asian people that are starving in parts of Asia. Even in Australia, we have homeless people, we have starving people, and I don't do enough. That's how I hurt them, because I choose to ignore their plight because it doesn't fit into my scheme of life, of things, of day to day. It's so much easier to ignore the plight of the person that's living in the part that's of Aboriginal descent. It's easier to ignore that than to go and give of myself to help them. And so that's my sin. I still do that.
Well, hopefully after you leave this meeting, you will do better, and just being upfront to know that that's racist and that's hatred. And the studying of the Word of God is something you have to have a pure heart about. And at least you confessing and you letting us know what's in your heart, and hopefully you'll do better going forward. Because that kind of position that you all are taking, that's the dark side of life, it's killing God's innocent people, which are Black people. We didn't consent to be here, and like she said, we don't educate. But those decisions, whether they're wise or unwise, they're killing us. And hopefully, do better.
Ray, Ray, go ahead.
Yes, can I be heard sufficiently?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right. Greetings to the host, to everyone in the room, and to our white guests. I had two questions, but now I have three. Okay. Based on your sum total knowledge as a white person in the system of white supremacy, what should be the compensation for white people for their tacit response in countering those other white people who choose to practice white supremacy?
Well, my battery's going dead. Okay. I believe, firstly, there has to be laws against any supremacy, and we have to just teach each other, speak out and teach each other. Is to, as you say, when someone, I don't know how to explain it. Not argue. I talk with people, I argue with people all the time about instances. I take instances, and because that's when my heart moves, and then I'll argue for that instance or that. I don't know what else to say, and my battery's just going flat. And no, that's not an excuse. I promise. I've come in here. I've been as honest as I can. So it'll need about 20 minutes for my phone
Will
to
you be
go up
back?
again.
Will you be back for part two?
It'll be about 20 minutes for my phone to charge up again. It's down to 11%.
I'm asking
Can
you
I
a
just ask
question.
you
Will
one
you be
more?
back for part two?
Can we do it tomorrow? Because it's 12:30 a.m. for me.
Might you have
Again,
time for one more question, ma'am?
Sorry?
Might you have time for one more question?
Certainly, as long as it lasts.
Yes, yes. Based on your sum total knowledge as a white person in the system of white supremacy, should non-white people globally have any limits to the methods that they choose to use in order to counter the system of white supremacy?
The only thing I don't believe in for anyone is violence. But that's my opinion, okay? I understand that. I just don't believe in violence for either anybody. I don't like gun control in America. I don't like violence of anything, but that's because even as a young child, violence scared me. I saw a white man bashing another white man with a pole when I was a real little kid, and so violence scares the crap out of me.
do you have another question, Way?
Yes, you're in Australia, ma'am. Have you heard any stories about how your white ancestors down there systematically killed every male and female and child on the island of Tasmania to the south of you?
Yes,
A lot of distortion.
Yeah, lots of distortion. Are you okay, CD?
I suspect there may be another racist suspect. Oh, sorry about interrupting.
Oh, Christian, I see him.
Where? Hit the mic.
Christian.
Hello. Yes. I was just joining the conversation because my family, we're 10th generation Tejano Mexicans in Texas, and a lot of the Tejanos in Texas have a lot of European in them, and like my family, we were bullied by other Mexicans saying, "Oh, you're too white to be Hispanic," or "You're not Hispanic enough,"
Are
or
you
stuff
white or
like.
non-white, sir?
I didn't. I guess I'm Hispanic. I mean, there's white Hispanics, black Hispanics, and all types of races. I
White
guess I'm
or not
portrayed as a
white?
white person. That's what everybody else sees me as.
Say that again.
I guess I'm portrayed as a white person. That's how everybody else sees me.
Is that on your driver's license?
It has other.
Do you classify yourself as white?
Um, I guess so.
Are you accepted by other white people as white? People classified as white as white?
They'll say yes or they'll say no. It's a mixed baggage.
I
If
didn't catch that.
Like if I say I'm Hispanic, like I'm Mexican, like my family roots are Mexican, they'll say I'm not white. But if I'm in front of Hispanics, they'll say I'm white. It depends. Because like the whites see me as a Mexican, and the Hispanics see me as a light skinned Hispanic.
I didn't hear any of that. I don't. It might be my end.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I
But
didn't
no,
hear
I was
anything.
just saying is that it all depends which group I'm with. You know, if I'm with a bunch of white people, they'll say, "Oh, you're not white, you're Mexican." Or if I'm with a bunch of Mexican people, they'll say, "Well, you're not Mexican, you're white," because I'm a I'm a light skinned Hispanic. That's how they view me. You know, so like I view
I
myself as
suspect
Southern.
that this person is practicing racism, white supremacy by confusing the room or trying to confuse us.
Like I don't know. I just view myself as an American.
When
Like
you say American, what? Who are you talking about?
people who live in America,
Specifically, who?
people who pay taxes to the American government. You know, people who abide the laws, people who work hard every day, people who provide for their
Are
families.
you talking about white or non-white people? That's what he's asking.
Well, everybody. I mean, that's white, black, Hispanic, Asian, mixed race, natives.
I need to charge my phone that white people allowed me to have. So yeah, we're
No
gonna have to do
problem.
this again. We'll
I
do this
mean,
again later.
look, there's good and bad people in
Can I
all
ask one
groups.
question, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Kristen,
Uh huh.
why are you comfortable with saying the word nigger?
I haven't said the word that.
What about April 26th?
I don't recall I said anything like that.
So is that a Photoshop tweet that I created in the Jumbotron? Did I create that?
I don't see that.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Yes, this person is extremely deceptive. I do think that he is practicing racism, white supremacy.
Should I have a question? My question is like, what is an ideal country for you?
Can I go?
Yes, sir.
An ideal country is one
Mm-mm,
that is
mm-mm. No,
just.
no, no. Oh, oh, I see you getting ready to answer in a codified way. I apologize for that. Go ahead. But no, 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 no. We don't answer. No, 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 no. Not even that. We ask the questions, not the other way around.
I like you.
Yeah, my phone's getting ready to die. So I'm gonna shut this down and I will have another one later. Christian, you are welcome to, you are invited to come again.